The Masjid Musa Mosqu remained peaceful after some chaos, but both parents and Muslim leaders are now finding it hard to explain why children were caught in the melee. KTN's Ferdinand Omondi now joins us live from Mombasa. Ferdy, what is the latest from that mosque?
Good evening, Nancy. Well, for the first straight day ever since the raid at the Mosque of Musa, leaders have given very sharp and mixed reactions towards whatever happened. There's a good deal of people who feel that the police were very brutal in their approach and have also chastised them for having entered the mosque. But also have another group of leaders now asking what children were doing there in the first place. And now the question that emerges is where do parents fall and guardians in this role of guiding their children down the well-trodden path of righteousness? Now, this is a story I did and sought opinion from opinion leaders. 125 in the dock. Several of them are minors. The charges: engaging in terrorism activities at the Musa Mosque in Mombasa. They will spend 5 days in remand with grown men suspected to be sympathetic to terrorism. The role of minors in terror remains a hot topic, and the manner in which police handled Sunday's operation when they stormed the mosque is still attracting heated reactions.
There's nowhere in the world ambapo ideological war has been won through force. Hakuna.
You see, this is a group which was properly prepared for war, you see, to terrorize. And if the government allows that to continue, then it will be chaos, not only in Mombasa, but in the entire country.
If the government of Kenya is sincere about tackling the problem of violence, extremism, radicalization, and the rest, then the government should not be seen as if it is retaliating, but the government should be seen as applying the law.
But on this day, a different voice joined the fray. The Council of Imams and Preachers of Kenya, while equally disappointed with police for storming Masjid Musa, are wondering what children were doing there in the first place.
Inapasa watoto kama wale wawe madrasa, haswa siku ya Jumapili kama ile ambayo ilioshikwa, ilikuwa wawe msikitini madrasa wakisoma dini ya haki na ya ukweli, dini ya Uislamu.
Parents claim their children were attracted to the Sunday seminar when organizers promised attendants a feast of biryani, a popular rice delicacy here. But critics of the seminar believe the feast was a smokescreen to lure many minors before the real agenda took place, which police maintain was the radicalization of young minds. This notion brings in the role of parents in guiding their children. CIPK feels some parents may have placed too much faith in preachers, some of whom are now pawning the children to dangerous practices.
Kuna watu wanawatumia hawa watoto kwa maslahi yao na agenda zao za siri wao wenyewe wanazozijua. Wajua hata ukimwona shekhe au kasisi au padri au nani, yeye watoa mawaidha, lakini kuna wakati na yeye pia ataka apawe mawaidha pia. Waambie bwana, mimi naona wewe mzee au we shekhe au we padri au we pasta, hii njia si sawa sawa, mimi naona hapa kidogo kuna kasoro fulani.
Masjid Musa and Masjid Sakina have gained notoriety in recent times in the war on terror. Practically every disruption that has rocked Mombasa in the past year has involved faithful of Masjid Musa. Sakina Mosque followed suit recently when a section of radical youth reportedly ejected Sheikh Mohammed and his leaders and took over the reins. Police believe both mosques are now sympathetic to terror groups and radical preachers, and CIPK has been on the receiving end for their perceived soft stance.
Tujiribuni tutafute njia ya kuweza kutatua jambo hili kuliko kuanza kulaumu na kuanza kuona viongozi wa kidini wapita kuwaita wanafiki, kuwaita wasaliti. Hilo sio suluhisho.
County Commissioner Nelson Marwa also accused Mombasa leaders of playing to the public gallery instead of offering leadership. A long-standing discussion to form a new committee to run the Musa Mosque has failed to launch. Now they want to try that again. Now, there appears to be mutual suspicion between the leaders, so it is very easy for them. There's a unanimous agreement that people need to sit down and talk and get down to dialogue, but there is mutual suspicion between the religious leaders and the police, and even the youth and the police. So while all agree that dialogue is the best way to solve this, it appears there is not one person ready to make that first move, and that's what everybody is waiting for. Nancy.
All right, Ferdinand. Well, as we've seen, opinion is still divided on whether the children who were caught in the middle were actually there for biryani or for the radicalization. So what do you think might actually end up being the fate of these children now?
Well, the county commissioner yesterday said that age will not be a factor in determining who is guilty or is innocent. They already present before court, and all who are charged with being involved in terrorist-related activities. Police were granted 5 days to continue the investigations. Those who are found to have actually gone there for biryani or pilau, whatever it is, they said they will be set free. But the county commissioner said that those who will have been found to have been, or who have a case to answer, suspected of being involved in terror activities, will face the full force of the law. And in as much as now the parents and some of these leaders want them released, it does appear that while some will go home scot-free, some will be charged with the adults who are now currently in remand with them at Shimona Tower. Nancy.
All right. Well, thank you very much for speaking to us this evening, Ferdinand. That's Ferdinand in Mombasa, updating us on the situation at the Masjid Musa Mosque.
Now, staying with that story on the raid on the Masjid Musa, the Jamia Mosque Committee has accused the police of allegedly using excessive force and engaging in gross violation of human rights. The Muslim leaders, led by Jamia Mosque Assistant Secretary General Ibrahim Lethome, questioned why the police allowed the meeting to take place the whole morning and only invaded it after the 1 o'clock prayers.
Speaking at Jamia Mosque in Nairobi, the Muslim leaders said they were disturbed by the Sunday violent clashes between the police and a group of youth at the Masjid Musa Mosque in Majengo, Mombasa. According to police, the mayhem resulted into 2 deaths, though human rights activists put the death toll to at least 6. Several people also injured, including a police officer. The Muslim leaders insist that though they appreciate the government has a primary responsibility of protecting people and property, the police responded with excessive force.
We cannot afford to keep silent to the fact that the police used excessive force in disrupting the meeting. There was also gross violation of human and children's rights.
The Muslim leaders maintained the preparation for the meeting was known to the security agents, who allowed it to go on up to midday before surrounding the mosque to stop the meeting. However, that assertion differs with the authorities' explanation for the confrontation.
And the timing when they came in, which was immediately after 1 o'clock, that is immediately after the midday prayers, which means that even innocent passers-by who are Muslims, I included, could have gone to the mosque for prayers.
Police officers moved to the scene as early as 10 in the morning, just trying to talk to them to come out. They refused, and they were armed.
They proposed that a meeting with all Muslim leaders and other stakeholders should be urgently convened to find a lasting solution to the problem of radicalization of youth, not only in Mombasa, but also the whole country.
We do not agree with any person, we want to repeat again, Muslim or non-Muslims, to perpetrate violence.
The National Security Advisory Committee, under the chairmanship of Secretary to the Cabinet Francis Kimemia, on Monday discussed the chaos in Mombasa. The committee is said to have brainstormed the possibility of closing down Masjid Musa Mosque in Mombasa, which is suspected to be indoctrinating youth.
No mosque should be closed, but the government should remain vigilant to ensure law and order is maintained.
The Muslim leaders asked the youth to remain calm as the leadership seeks a lasting solution. Patrick Amimo, KTN.